Hey, welcome back to Soul Whispers Tarot. So today I'm going to do a little bit of ASMR. We're going to be flipping through the tarot deck and we're going to be looking at the basic meanings of the tarot cards. So I have the Rider-Waite Tarot here, and I would recommend this deck to anyone who is starting to read the tarot, because I feel that the images on the cards best represent the meanings. Like, there's so much symbolism and meaning in each image. I initially started reading the tarot with a really difficult deck, and it was like the Three of Swords just literally showed 3 swords, the Four of Swords, 4 swords, the Eight of Cups, 8 cups, and it was as simple as that, and it was really difficult, but I guess in a way it did help me to memorize the meanings because I didn't have the images to help me, but it was a really difficult way of learning the tarot. So I would recommend the Rider-Waite Tarot for any beginners. So we're going to start off by flipping through the major arcana cards. So the major arcana cards are the cards that are often called the destiny cards. These are part of someone's soul contract. These are the main themes that are going to occur for the person at that specific time. Maybe the main themes about what they need to heal within themselves. So the major arcana cards, there's 21 of them. It starts with the 0, which is the Fool. And I'm going to be looking into the upright meanings and the reversals as well. I know some people don't like reversals and don't use reversals, but personally I find that looking at the meanings in reverse adds a lot more richness to the meanings, to the interpretations for each reading. So the first major arcana card is the 0, the Fool. So because this is the start of the whole deck, the Fool literally means a brand new beginning. It's called the Fool's Journey. And the cards are like a story. Each card is like a different aspect of a person's journey through life and their spiritual awakening, their spiritual development. And there's a lot of key themes in day-to-day life that come up in the tarot. So the Fool is literally a brand new beginning, a fresh start, turning over a new leaf, a new journey in life, whether literally, but mostly it means symbolically. So the Fool is also about taking a leap of faith, trusting in the divine. This dog is often depicted as cheering the person on, cheering the Fool on their new path. But it can also be, in some cases, that the dog may be holding the Fool back. It could be like the inner chatter, the inner voice, the doubts. But the Fool, he has left all this baggage behind him. He's ready for a brand new start and is very courageous. He only takes that satchel with him. And the white rose represents being on the path of the divine. So some may say that he's foolish because when he jumps off the cliff he may plummet to his death. But the Fool is all about trusting in the divine, trusting in one's intuition. So in the reverse position, the Fool represents a fear of taking that leap of faith, a fear of the unknown which comes to us through a new beginning. It's self-doubt or not being able to fully trust in one's intuition or in the divine, and therefore stagnating or holding themselves back from taking that leap of faith. It can also mean, in the reverse position, that someone is acting a little foolishly. They're acting a little bit childish. Okay, so the next card in the major arcana is the number 1, which is the Magician. So the Magician is all about self-mastery. He is the master manifester. He has acquired a lot of knowledge, a lot of skills, because he has mastered the cups, the pentacles, the swords and the wands, which are the different suits in the minor arcana cards. So the Magician is all about self-mastery. With the infinity symbol, it represents whatever energy you are within reflects back to you. So the Magician is very confident. The Magician has a lot of self-esteem. Both of these cards are yellow, which is the color of the solar plexus chakra, which is all about confidence, self-esteem, self-worth. So this person knows that they can create their reality based on their beliefs, based on what they choose to focus on. So this person is focusing very positively. They know that they will create what they desire. They will manifest their true desires. In the reverse position, it can mean that someone is feeling blocked. They're losing faith in their manifestation. It can also be that they're giving away their personal power. They have a lot of subconscious limiting beliefs that are really holding them back, because whatever we believe, whether it is conscious or subconscious, is what manifests back to us in our reality. So this could be someone who has so much potential to consciously create the life that they want, the desired outcome that they want, but they're struggling. A lot of us go through that when we're trying to manifest something, and then we go into doubt when we feel like it's not coming in quick enough, and then we fear that it's not going to happen at all. Also, the Magician in reverse can mean someone who's trying to trick you. The Magician in terms of it all being smoke and mirrors, someone trying to be deceptive, someone trying to be controlling of someone's perception. It could also be someone who's trying to manifest negative things, or using manipulative spells in order to manipulate other people's free will, or create harm on someone else. So the next card in the major arcana is number 2, which is the High Priestess. So the High Priestess is all about intuition. She is sitting in front of the veil between this dimension and the higher dimensions. So it's all about the connection to your higher self, to these other dimensions, to spirit guides, soul family, and receiving that wisdom. She's holding the scroll. Sometimes it's the book of life, the secrets of life. This is someone who can really look inwards, someone who can really see the bigger picture. There's a lot of moon symbology in this card. The moon represents depth, psychic powers, but also it can represent fears. This person is not afraid to go inwards and be honest with themselves. They're very balanced in terms of the 3D, but also the higher dimensions. They're spiritual and physical all in one. They've merged the two with the black and white pillars. It's like a balanced energy, the yin, the yang. So the High Priestess calls you to look inwards, look beyond the veil of illusion, meditate, try and connect with the divine to discover the answers that you are seeking. In the reversed position, it's someone who is out of touch with their intuition. They have so much power, like psychic powers, but they're repressing them, or they don't know how to trust in their intuition. This is someone where they may believe in a lot of illusions. They may have experienced a lot of social conditioning, which has made them out of touch with their intuition. So they need to pull the wall off from around their eyes and go inwards. It can also be someone that is overly logical. They're denying this intuitive aspect of themselves. They're out of touch with spirit, the divine. They may be denying the messages, the intuitions that they are receiving, not seeing the truth about something. Something is hidden from their gaze. They cannot see something in the true light. So the next one is number 3, which is the Empress. So the Empress is all about creativity. Sometimes she's depicted as being pregnant, so it's like the birth of something new. It's about growth. It's about going with the flow, like this river. It's about the divine feminine energy, where she knows her worth, and therefore she is in a vibration of being able to receive everything that she needs, including love, finances, happiness. She's in a very receptive state, and it's creating growth. It's creating a new beginning, healing. The Empress is very confident. The Empress knows her worth, and she exudes a lot of joy as well, because again there is a lot of yellow in this card, which is the solar plexus chakra, which is self-esteem. A lot of abundance surrounds the Empress, because she knows how to surrender, she knows how to trust in the divine, and therefore her manifestations flow into her life. Her highest good flows in. She's a very nurturing, kind, understanding, compassionate, divine feminine energy. A really good friend, a really good shoulder to cry on. In the reverse position, it can mean someone who is overly mothering or overly controlling in a situation, someone who has wounds to do with abandonment and rejection, and therefore tries to hold on too tightly to a sense of control, perhaps trying to control others or manipulate others to feel safe, to feel secure. But it's like an unhealthy relationship with herself, and therefore unhealthy relationship with others. So it could be someone who's overly mothering and controlling, or it could be the opposite as well, someone who's cold, maybe bitter and resentful, and therefore cold towards other people, not allowing her highest good to flow in, not believing in that, not having faith, and therefore trying to micromanage everything around her. The next one is the Emperor, number 4. So the Emperor is the father figure, is the counterpart to the Empress. It's like the mother and father. The Emperor is the person that's in control of the state, someone who looks over, just like a king energy, looks over the people, looks out for the people, someone who is very balanced, very skillful, very aware of themselves and their surroundings, someone who is empathic, but at the same time they're very confident at making their own decisions for themselves and for the highest good of other people as well. A very balanced energy, very kind, nurturing, but also strong, can appear to be stern at times, but they have the highest good of everyone in mind. They are a very good provider. In the reversed position, the Emperor can be very controlling. They can be egotistical. They could be power hungry. They always want to be on top. They always want to be the most powerful one who makes the decisions. The Emperor in reverse may have difficulties accepting advice or asking for help, because, you know, the Emperor would have advisors that would help them with making decisions about protecting the people, about going into battle and all things like that. But the Emperor in reverse is someone who may be abusing their power status, very stubborn, doesn't believe anyone else knows what they're talking about kind of energy. So then we have number 5, the Hierophant. So this card is all about spirituality. It's all about commitment to the divine, faith, spiritual practice. It can also be about marriage and commitments of those kinds. It can be about a higher calling. People looking to the divine, looking for God, the universe. It could be someone who is very religious, someone who feels that they have a divine mission to help other people with their awakening and guiding people with their awakening. But yeah, marriages, soul and marriage contracts as well. In the reverse position, it could be someone who has temporarily lost their faith in their religion or in their spiritual path or in God. It can mean divorce. It can be rebelling or breaking free from religious constraints. It can be turning their back on the divine temporarily, because this is such a strong energy. It's like someone who's in denial of their spirituality for a while, someone who was highly disappointed perhaps by something that happened in their life or heartbroken about something, and they've temporarily lost faith. So the next is number 6, the Lovers. 6 is the number of love in numerology. The Lovers is about, you know, the obvious, about 2 lovers, 2 partners. It can also mean sometimes a divine connection, so a soulmate, a twin flame. It is a connection that is watched over by the divine with this angel here. So a profound connection of romance and of the soul in many times, many ways. Sometimes the Lovers can be about needing to make a choice. In some decks it shows one man and two women, and there's confusion about who to choose. So the Lovers is often about choice between the head and the heart when it comes to romance. The Lovers can mean a healthy, happy, romantic connection, joy, harmony, peace. In reverse, it can mean disharmony. It can mean someone feels as though they chose the wrong partner. Someone who is very, very confused about making a decision when it comes to romance. It could be arguments, conflict, a lack of communication or miscommunication. It could represent a temporary separation of the two. The next card is the Chariot. So the Chariot is all about movement forward, but there needs to be balance within. The person needs to have balance emotionally, mentally, maybe even physically in order to move forward. This can indicate rapid movement, rapid change. The person is in control of the forward movement. This is determination, passion about change or movement in a new direction or movement towards goals, really making things happen. But it will only happen when there's balance within, because if there's imbalance, they will just remain sitting here and there won't be movement. In the reverse position, the Chariot can mean a lack of movement. It can mean delays, obstacles, imbalance, impatience, and frustration, like someone maybe really wanting to progress forward in their life in some kind of way, but they're feeling held back. They don't know how to come into alignment with what they are wanting to manifest, and therefore there's delays, obstacles, stagnation, or maybe even going in circles. In the reverse position, it can mean someone who's trying to force an outcome, trying to rush things because they feel really impatient and frustrated. So the next card is number 8, which is strength. So this means emotional strength, physical strength, someone who is patient, someone who is kind, but also someone who is firm. This represents taming the inner beast or taming instincts that aren't serving us. It could be quietening the inner voice or the self-destructive part of ourselves. This is like self-control and strength in adversity. It could be someone who is helping another person to be strong. This is someone who is very balanced and wise, with the infinity symbol here as well. They are strong within, and so they're strong when outer circumstances are very challenging. In the reverse position, it can mean that someone is trying to find strength within themselves, but they're finding it very difficult. This could be someone who's beating themselves up and feeling like they're weak It could be someone who is struggling with their inner critic, the inner voice that they're struggling to silence. Someone who doesn't feel strong, someone that's going through a lot of difficulties when it comes to having healthy boundaries or sticking up for themselves or saying no. Someone who is struggling to know their self-worth and have healthy boundaries. So then we have number 9, which is the Hermit. This is a very spiritual card. It's about going inwards, taking time alone to find the inner light, the inner guidance, the inner wisdom of intuition, following messages received from the divine. The Hermit lets go of any baggage, leaves everything behind to go on a path, a journey on their own, a spiritual journey inwards, journey of healing themselves. They forge their own path, they go in their own direction. This is very much a card, a message of spiritual awakening, relying on one's own intuition to make decisions and move forward in life. In the reverse position, the Hermit can mean someone who feels very isolated. They're feeling a call from the divine to go inwards and trust their intuition, but they're struggling to do that, or they're afraid to do that. They're afraid to go inwards, or they're receiving the messages, they're seeing the light, but they're not taking action on that. They're continuing to go in self-destructive circles, denying their intuition, denying a soul calling, staying in their comfort zone, refusing to let go of baggage or anything that isn't serving them. So the next one we have is number 10, the Wheel of Fortune. So this is all about the karmic cycle. This is all about soul contracts. What lessons do we have in life? Sometimes we can keep going round and round in circles when we haven't quite grasped the lesson in something, when we haven't fully healed something or understood some kind of difficulty that we've been going through. It's only when we have an epiphany that we can exit the wheel of karma. The Wheel of Fortune can also mean good luck. It can mean overcoming adversity, because there's the Sphinx and the lion with the sword, which is victory, strength, overcoming this devil here, which is the fears, the inner demons, the karma, the illusions, the social conditioning. So we must have a deep understanding of ourselves and our motivations in order to be able to step off the wheel if we keep going in circles. In the upright position, it can mean positive movement forward. It can be endings of old cycles and new beginnings, major new beginnings. In the reverse position, it really is saying that our inner demons, our wounds, our illusions, our conditioning is somehow blocking us from being able to learn something really important on our Fool's journey, on our spiritual journey. And so we keep getting stuck on the merry-go-round, going in circles time and time again. This could be a fear of moving forward, so subconsciously the person is self-sabotaging or staying in difficult or karmic situations. This is someone who feels powerless or helpless, but it's an illusion. It's all about what we believe about ourselves, what we believe about life, because due to the law of attraction, whatever we believe is what we receive. Whatever we believe is what we manifest. So then we have justice. Justice is when we step off that karmic wheel. We move into the justice energy, which is balance, which is cutting the ties to the things that aren't serving us, being able to free ourselves from the injustice of that karmic wheel if we got stuck on that. It's about balance. This can also be about divorce, legal matters going in your favor. It's about seeing things clearly. It's about judging a situation fairly, being honest with yourself in order to be able to move forward. In the reverse position, it could be legal matters that aren't going your way. It could be the need to release certain things or people or cycles in your life which aren't serving you. It could be difficulties in divorce or any kind of injustice that you're feeling. It can also mean marriage as well, like legal contracts. So then we have number 12, the Hanged Man. So this is a card about being on hold, being on pause. The Hanged Man purposely hangs himself upside down by the ankle in order to see things in a different perspective. He has the halo of light around his head, which represents enlightenment. So this can be all about going inwards, introspection, trying to see things from different angles, different perspectives in order to understand something better before moving forward. So this could be about needing to make decisions. It could be that there are some delays and obstacles, but mostly it's about going inwards, looking at things objectively, finding enlightenment surrounding that subject, and then eventually being able to move forward. The Hanged Man, some people can get stuck in that energy. It could be someone's afraid to take a leap of faith. Someone could be afraid to move forward, and so they're delaying making any movement or taking action or making a decision. But it's a temporary pause in life. In reverse position, the Hanged Man represents someone who could potentially be very stuck, keeping themselves stuck, not being honest with themselves, having comfort zone that's really limiting them, holding themselves back because they don't believe in themselves, or fear of the unknown. This is definitely staying in the comfort zone, holding on to a sense of safety, but it's very much limiting this person. Alternatively, in the reverse position, the Hanged Man can mean the end of that pause in life. It can mean slowly moving forward. It can mean that someone has rested and recuperated through that time of pause, and now they are ready to slowly take the initial steps to move forward in their life. So then we have number 13, which is the Death card. This is often called transformation in many decks because it means the ending of old cycles in order for there to be a new beginning, a rebirth. So we have to release a lot of things in life in order to keep growing, keep expanding. We need to have the death of the ego in order to embrace more love and more peace. We need to release conditioning. We need to release certain relationships sometimes. We need to release a lot of things, and sometimes it's very painful, sometimes it's very scary. But in order for us to expand in life and spiritually, we have to detach, we have to let go. So the death is a major transformation in someone's life. The white horse represents being on the path of your highest good and the need to trust. Trust in the process, trust that you are supported and going in the right direction. Sometimes we try to cling on to things that really we need to surrender and let go of. So this really challenges our comfort zone when we're going through this energy. In the reverse position, it can say that someone is very afraid of this transformation. Someone is very afraid that when they surrender and release things, then they're not going to have the new beginning. This could be someone that's suffering from illness, someone that finds it very difficult when there's change in life, like their energy can be rigid and they're not very good at being adaptable. So this is resistance of change, resistance of transformation, resistance of the unknown, which can make the process even more scary. Then we have Temperance, number 14. So Temperance is all about balance. It's all about having self-control, not overindulging in anything that's going to be detrimental to our health in any way. It's about harmony, peace, healing. It can represent healthy relationships with another, because this is like the Two of Cups card, which is about a balanced, harmonious relationship of equal give and take. This Temperance card represents being balanced in terms of your physical life and your spiritual life. It's about hope, faith, and harmony. It's saying that you're feeling very close to the divine, or the divine is really watching over you and your life. In the reverse position, it's really saying that there's imbalances, the need to look inwards and see what's out of whack in your life, what needs more harmony, what's draining your energy. In the reverse position, it can mean overindulging, having a lack of faith in the divine, focusing more on 3D things, and feeling a sense of emptiness because you're out of touch with your connection to the universe, to God, to the divine. It can be drama, it can be arguments, difficulties, adversity, but again, it's still saying that Spirit is watching over you. Everything is happening for a reason. Then we have the Devil energy. So this is all about our inner demons. It's about fear. It's about fear controlling us, or us making decisions in life based on fear rather than faith, rather than love. So this can be anything like social conditioning, which makes us feel that we're not good enough. This can be unhealthy codependent attachments. It can be the energy of looking outside of ourselves for approval, for validation, because we don't know how to find it within. We don't know how to have self-love. This can be someone who's manipulating someone else, controlling energy, toxic relationships, people using and abusing others. It's an energy of feeling trapped. It could be an unhappy marriage or relationship where people feel chained to someone, or they feel chained together because of fears of separation, fears of going on the path alone, fears of the unknown. In the reverse position, it can be more positive and say someone has become aware of what their fears are. They've become aware of the manipulation or the abuse that they are suffering, and they're in the process or the initial stages of freeing themselves, cutting themselves free, or facing their inner demons, doing the shadow work, healing themselves, so that they no longer align with this kind of toxic vibration. Instead, they're rising above that. So it's the initial stages of healing and release. And it can mean overcoming the inner demons, the fears, or anything that makes a person feel blocked or stuck in toxic situations. The Tower. So this is actually one of my favorite cards in the deck. The Tower. It's an energy that's very destructive, but it's always a blessing in disguise. The Tower represents how we may have built our life around some kind of illusion, or built our life around something that isn't really serving us or isn't for our highest good. It could be that we are too much in our comfort zone and we're really limiting ourselves. The Tower brings about rapid change, transformation, and at first there's a lot of upheaval, but it's always so that we can rebuild our life in a new beginning, in the light, in the truth. It's a card that makes us be extremely honest with ourselves, something we couldn't see when the tower is struck and crumbles. In hindsight, we can see what was really holding us back, so then we can move forward. After the storm, there is the clear air, the sun, the new beginning. So when we think about lightning, it's when simply put, it's when hot and cold air meet, and it creates this spark of electricity, static electricity. And so this is representative of someone who's in a transition phase. It's like their soul is calling them forward, or they want to create change in their life, but they've still been stuck in their comfort zone or whatever's been holding them back. It's like those two energies cannot coexist. And so when holding on to the past, but then also wanting to move into the future, the energies react to each other. The polar opposites react, create this spark, and it forces us to make that change that is either needed or that we've been too afraid to make. So this can be endings of relationships or jobs or careers or anything that isn't serving us. It may seem like it's the worst thing in the world when that thing crumbles, but really when we look back, we realize it happened for a good reason, to get us to where we need to go. The Tower in reverse represents a resistance to that change. It couldn't be a fear of things falling apart and therefore holding on to things even more tightly. It can be a fear of a relationship ending, but at the same time knowing deep down that it needs to end because it's not serving you. It can be a fear of being honest with ourselves or others. It can be a fear of letting down our guard, letting down our wall. But if it's really majorly holding us back, sometimes the universe will come in and force us to break down those walls so that we can move forward, so that we can allow new beginnings, new opportunity, new love, whatever it is, into our reality. So then we have the Star. So after all this destruction and this fear and pain and stark realizations, and then realizing it's happened for a good reason, we move into the Star energy, which is all about healing. Instead of hiding behind the walls or being blocked, we are now free and we're naked, we're vulnerable. And there's these two jugs of the water, so it's like that Two of Cups in the Temperance as well, which is balance, peace. The Star is like the Star of Bethlehem, following your Christ consciousness. It does not mean Christianity, it means following your true immortal soul, and it's all its wisdom and intuition. So these 7 stars represent the chakras and the healing of those. It's about hope, it's about a new journey, a bright new beginning. It's all very exciting. In reverse, the star represents feelings of hopelessness, fears that things aren't going to heal, or fears that things are happening for the wrong reasons, or, you know, fears that everything's going wrong in life. Again, it can be a fear of being open and vulnerable, feeling emotionally insecure or imbalanced, not trusting in the divine, not trusting in the intuition. So the moon is an energy of deception, but it can also be about the subconscious. It can be the fear of stepping out of that comfort zone and going down the path of the unknown. The moon is all about our fears, you know, in the darkness of night. These creatures can be very scary. We can see all these shadows. It's a bit like children who are afraid of shadows in their bedroom because they think they're monsters, you know. It can be an overactive imagination that is making us feel very fearful about certain things. This can be an energy of the dark night of the soul, needing to really, really go deeply inwards to heal things that may be creating depression or unhappiness or making us feel very triggered in our life. The moon can be about secrets. In love, it can be about someone withholding their feelings and keeping them a secret, or it can be someone who's lying and being deceptive. It can be a secret relationship. In reverse, it's about secrets coming out into the open. It's about awakening, coming to a realization about something major. It can be overcoming the fears of going inwards and really being honest with yourself, really doing the healing work. It can be lies and deceptions coming out into the light, into the open. The Sun. So this is one of the most positive cards in the whole deck. It's about joy, peace, healing of the inner child. Again, there's a white horse, so being in the path of your highest good. It's about self-esteem, positivity, good luck, anything positive, anything bright. It's about hope, healing, love, just absolute joy on all levels. It can be about a brand new beginning, a really positive new beginning. So with the Sun, even in the reverse position, this is a positive card. It means that, how I see it is, it's like the clouds have come out. The clouds are in the way of the Sun. They're blocking out the Sun, its light, its warmth. So in the reverse position, you may believe that the Sun, or anything optimistic or happy or anything that makes you feel positive, you may not be able to see that. You may be clouded by pessimistic thinking or conditioning or doubts or disappointment, and not fully seeing the light. But the cloud, the Sun, is infinitely stronger than the clouds. The Sun is always going to be there. It's only a matter of time before the clouds dissipate and you see the Sun again. You realize that everything is still really positive and hopeful. Judgment. So the Judgment card is about awakening, rebirth, having a deep realization about something, a spiritual calling, feeling called to do a spiritual mission. It's also about making a final judgment about something where you need to be really honest and see the truth. Maybe you need to make a decision about something. Judgment is all about making a wise decision based on seeing things from a higher perspective. It's like a conclusion of a question or decision that you need to make. Judgment in reverse is about fear of listening to this spiritual calling. It's about fearing that you're going to be judged by God or by other people or even yourself. It can be self-judgment that is causing a person to be afraid to be their true self, to be naked and vulnerable. It's like their self-judgment or fear of judgment is really holding them back from really going for it in some way in their life. Someone may have experienced a lot of judgment and they've lost touch with their true self. They've lost touch with loving their true self and knowing their worthiness because of other people's negative judgments. The World. So this is number 21. This is the final major arcana card in the tarot. It's about conclusions. It's about the end result. It can be that you see things from a higher perspective. These other cards, these other aspects of the journey may lead you to seeing things from a higher perspective. And so you've completed a major cycle. You've come off the karmic wheel. You've learnt the lesson. And then you can start all over again, back at the zero, back at the full, on a new journey. So this can be that you are connected and balanced between the physical world and the spiritual world within. It can mean that you feel a soul calling to help the world in some way, help the planet, be on your spiritual mission. In the reverse position, it can represent unfinished business, delays and obstacles to a final outcome. It can mean that you feel that you've missed some kind of opportunity and things were meant to turn out in a different way. It can mean that you're still holding on for a positive conclusion, but that's either delayed or you feel like you have to change certain things or do something in order to create the outcome that you truly want. It can be a fear of release in order for a new cycle to begin. So that is the major Arcana cards. I hope you've enjoyed the video and that you've learnt a lot of the meanings and that it's been very helpful. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.